and his devotees by our own endeavors. If we try, then we will misunderstand. And to misunderstand is worse than not understanding at all. Especially because if we misunderstand, we may think that these pastimes are just like the material world. But they're not at all material. Even when Krishna was present on this planet 5,000 years ago, his pastimes were not material. His body is completely spiritual at all times, and the bodies of pure devotees are always completely spiritual. Well, what's the difference between something that's material and something that's spiritual? Well, like here, I have a book, you see. So this is apparently an ordinary material object. However, if we look inside, we won't find anything about anything material. Everything in this book is spiritual, because it's offered as a service for glorification of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. So when we take Krishna's energy, whether it's material or spiritual or whatever it is, and engage it in his service, then it becomes spiritualized. For example, in the Christian communion ceremony, they offer some bread and wine. And then something happens, which is technically called transubstantiation. It changes from one kind of substance to a different kind of substance, from a material substance to a spiritual substance. When we offer Krishna's energy back to Krishna in his service, then this energy becomes linked with Krishna. This linking process is called yoga. And because of this link, then that energy becomes re-spiritualized. It comes back in its original form. Originally, everything is spiritual. The liberated souls, they don't see anything material. They see Krishna everywhere in the form of his energy, and also as the super soul within all the atoms. So everyone should take advantage of this process to take whatever material things, whatever material position or material resources they've got, and to engage those things in Krishna's service. This is called karma yoga. And by this linking process, this energy becomes re-spiritualized and becomes back in a proper relationship with Krishna. Krishna says to Lord Brahma in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, at the time when Lord Brahma attained self-realization, Krishna appeared to him. And one of the things he said to Lord Brahma was, if you see energy which appears to be disconnected from me, then know that this is my illusory energy, the reflection that appears to be in darkness. Okay? So this is what we call Maya, or material energy. But it's still Krishna's energy. All we have to do is realize that and engage it in his service, and it becomes spiritual energy again. You see? It's very simple. The principle is very simple. The application is a little bit difficult, mainly because we're so conditioned. We're driven by habits of material enjoyment and thinking that we're the owners of these things and so on. But actually, everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. One time, the same Lord Brahma was asked by one of his disciples, what is the value of this material world? There's a common saying that, what is it? Jagat Mithya. Satyam, something Satyam Jagat Mithya. Yes, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. In other words, only spirit is truth. And materiality is Jagat, is Mithya, is illusion. You see, the impersonalists like this. This comes from Upanishads. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, or Jagan Mithya, I think. Which means that everything that we see, everything that we know, everything that we think we have, our body, everything, the mind, the whole material world, is actually illusory. And they take that to mean that this world doesn't really exist. It's completely maya, it's completely useless. So we have to reject everything, neti. Reject everything in the world and just meditate on Brahman. Well, that's a nice theory. But they're misinterpreting the Upanishads. They're misinterpreting because, first of all, they don't understand what Brahman really is. Brahman ultimately means Krishna. Because without being a person, how can Brahman create so many living entities who are also persons? You see? Persons come from persons. They don't come from anything impersonal. You never see a rock give birth to an animal or something like that. It's just, doesn't happen. What happens is that animals give birth to animals. And they don't give birth to any kind of animal, only animals of their species. Similarly, human beings give birth to human beings and like that. So how could God create the world and all these persons and all these living entities unless God is also a person and a living entity? You see? The effect cannot have a quality which is absent in the cause. Or to put it the other way, the cause must have all the qualities present in its effects. So if you see a quality in the effect, the cause must also have that quality. This is common sense. So, first of all, the Brahman, the source of everything, Janmādyasya yataha, that which from everything has come, has to be a person. Of course, he has more qualities as well. Just like we were going over the 64 qualities of Krishna very elaborately, he has so many qualities that the living entities do not have. And even the qualities that are shared with the living entities, he has in an infinite quantity, and we have in a tiny, tiny quantity. So yes, this material world it may be incomplete in the sense that we don't see Krishna directly within it. But is that really the fault of the material world? Jagat Mithya? Is that really the nature of the material world, or does it really have something to do with us? Could it really be that we see the material world as incomplete because we don't see Krishna? Or we see it as being separate from Krishna when it's actually not separate from him at all? See? Jagat Mithya, it can also be interpreted to mean everybody in this world is in illusion. All the people in this world, all the inhabitants of the material universe are actually in illusion. They're not seeing properly. We've discussed this very, very deeply in our past lectures and classes. So I'm not going to go into it fully tonight. But when the impersonalists say, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, that saying is true because it's from the Upanishads, it's from Vedas. The problem is they misinterpret it to justify their own conclusion that the impersonal, the supreme is impersonal, and that the path of self-realization means just renouncing everything. Don't do any work, don't go anywhere, don't do any activity, don't speak, don't eat, don't do anything. Just merge into the oneness of it all. And they have this theory, but they don't actually follow their theory, because if they did follow their theory, they would simply sit down and be quiet and go merge into whatever they're going to merge into and leave us alone. But instead, they teach and they write bogus scriptures and they run around and argue with the devotees and they create all manner of havoc. Why? Because their philosophy justifies doing whatever you like. Huh? Eat meat, have sex, kill people, torture, steal, whatever you want to do. It's fine, because there's no God in control, no person with a set of values or preferences, no laws that anybody has to follow. We're all God, we're all one. Yay, great. So we can do anything we want. See, morality, oh, that's for less evolved souls, like those devotees, you know. Oh boy, this is a very dangerous philosophy. Buddhism also, for the same reason. If everything is ultimately nothing, then nothing matters. So why not do just whatever you like, huh? Go for the gusto. You only got one chance in this life, so do whatever you want, right? It justifies so much nonsense, so much criminal activity, actually. Criminal activity means hurting others, causing pain.